Okay, first of all, I would like to ask everyone to open their cameras no, muna. Tagal ko na kayo hindi nakita. It's good for us to see each other before we end the year. Okay, nga pala, as we're talking about the year end, na-approve ko na ba lahat ng topics nyo? Lahat na nandito, approve na yung topics?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, i-discuss ko lang, no? You've already submitted your outline, tama ba?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. Sige. You don't need to wait for my clearance to proceed. You can now do your paper. You can now start with your paper even without my clearance. Kasi yung outline naman is gagamitin ko lang para to check if the outline or your output is consistent with the initial outline na ginawa niyo. Of course, ginawa ko din yon so that matulungan kayo no sa pag-craft ng paper. I guess and I believe no same with my experience din, having an outline will help you identify ano yung dapat nyo i-search, ano yung dapat nyo isulat. Okay? So ayan. So yung mga pwede mag-open yung camera para let's see each other bago mag-end yung 2020 naman. Ngayon, para lang mas malinaw, let me share this final guidance ulit. Nakikita ba yung sinishare ko?
Yes po. Yes po.
Okay. Sige. Again, ulitin ko lang, itong final paper ninyo will also be your final exam. So medyo magiging mahigpit ako when it comes to checking it, and kaya kita niyo naman nagbigay talaga ako ng detailed guidelines of what I'm expecting of when it comes to the meaty part, the discussion part, and even yung mga administrative details like the format, ganyan. Ngayon, the intention was for you to identify real-life issues and relate it with any of the concepts na we've already discussed and we're going to discuss in this class. Now, you've done that. You've proposed incredible topics. I'm very happy with the topics that you've selected. Mag-rundown nga tayo. Miss Melanie, ano yung topic mo so you can share it with your classmates?
Okay po. Yung topic ko po is salary and job opportunities in the Philippines po.
Okay. Meron ba akong inask na specific industry or specific timeline? Wala naman.
Wala. Ang sabi nyo lang po, idagdag po yung how globalization shapes job availability and career options in the Philippines.
Okay. Very good. Miss Kagara, ano yung topic mo?
Sa akin po yung how might a democratic government affects business activities in a nation.
Okay, very good. Did I ask you to mention any countries?
Ano po, Vietnam, parang isasama po siya sa research ko po. Ganun po.
Sige. Pero it's not limited naman with Vietnam. If you can find other countries then to cite, marami yan, no?
Kaya nga po, ang dami nga po.
Ang dami, di ba? So actually, hindi ako mamumroblema sa references. Ang mamumroblema ako, how will you try to focus on the references that you only need? Kasi there's a lot eh.
Kasi sobrang dami.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Miss Kagara. Miss Ashley, what's your topic? Can you share with your classmates?
Sa akin po, yung globalization on language.
On language. Okay. So, meron ka bang na-encounter na initial problems when it comes to research, to your when it comes to references, ganyan, wala naman?
Wala naman po.
Okay, sige. Thank you, Miss Ashley. Mr. Elia, can you share to us your topic?
Yung yung a comparative research on finding through ideological governance for the improvement of the Philippines as a whole.
Okay. Very good. Okay, sino pa hindi ko natanong? Mr. Ligutan.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon. What's your topic again? Can you share to your classmates?
Excuse me. How does COVID-19 affect the accessibility of education between Philippines and the USA?
Okay, very good, no? And actually a good topic, a good and catchy title already. Okay, sino pang hindi ko natanong? Miss, eto, sa bagong pasok, Miss Micaela, can you tell your classmates and inform them as well kung ano ang iyong topic? Approve ko na ba yung topic mo?
Opo, sir.
Okay, so ano yung topic mo ulit?
Effects of mobile phones among youth.
Okay. Sige. Mr. Marvin, ano ang iyong topic? Mr. Marvin? Mr. Marvin, kasama ka ba namin? Okay, si Mr. ano muna, bagong pasok, Mr. Dean. Mr. Dean, can you tell your classmates ano yung topic mo?
Yung topic ko po yung sa Korean War po.
Okay, sa Korean. Actually, kanina ko pa ginagamit na example yung topic mo eh. Kasi someone from other class would like to pursue the same study. Okay? So pero I advise her to change some of her questions so that hindi kayo parehong-pareho. Okay, so aside from the intention, let's look at the format. The format, I'm expecting a paper that is of course in total would be more than 4 pages because the 4 pages here only corresponds to the main body, the main discussion, your arguments, and the meaty part of the paper in general. So 4 pages yon, no? Excluding the title page which will include which will specify, of course, your name, your catchy title, your student number, and of course another page or pages kasi depende if you're really good in looking for credible references, then okay, a reference page for at least 10 references. Now, your sources must be verified. I already informed you about this. I abhor plagiarism. I abhor fake news. That's why I've included here a tip, no, on how to spot fake news on a certain article, or whether the website you're visiting for your references is a peddler of fake news and disinformation. Now, sir, where can we get verified sources right now, especially now that we don't have any access to library? Of course, I'm not expecting you to go to a library because of our current situation. And actually, the internet holds a lot of references and data and information about the topics na mention nyo na kanina. Sabi nga ni Ms. Kagara, yung sa kanya nag-uumapaw na. Now, ang issue na ngayon is for you to identify which references or which sources, which articles are actually good information and not fake news. So ako, first and foremost, I would like you to visit and review government websites, related websites, no? Kasi syempre kung yung topic mo related sa trade, related sa education, then visit DTI and DepEd. If your topic is related to DOLE, then visit DOLE. Kasi they have press releases, they have reports, they have information, data sets regarding your topic, no? And I consider them official because it's government data. At the same time, you may visit journal articles. Of course, baka medyo mahaba na yun para sa inyo kasi usual articles have at least 10 pages. So masyado na mabigat yun sa inyo. So I expect most of you will just rely on summaries, on short reports, and as well as journalistic articles. When I say journalistic articles, dapat manggagaling ito sa mga lehitimong sources lamang. Whether bias yung sources na yun o hindi, based na rin sa inyong pagtingin. Kasi nasa inyo naman yun if a certain source is a bias source or not. So you may visit or you may look at the articles released by CNN, ABS, GMA, Rappler, Inquirer, Manila Bulletin kasi all of them naman are very journalistic. Nasa inyo nga lang yun, sa pagtingin ninyo, baka sabihin nyo, sir, ito medyo biased to against, ito medyo biased to in support of the government. Nasa kanila na yon at nasa inyo na yon if ganun yung pagtingin ninyo. But for me, I will accept those. No? Of course, as to the administrative part, no, the borders, no, the margins, 1 inch in all sides, and ang spacing natin 1.5. The font, of course, at least may option kayo between Calibri or Arial, and the font size is 12. Okay, so tip number 2, avoid plagiarism. I hate plagiarism. You may use paraphrasing, you may use direct quotation, but using direct quotation has its requirements and rules as well. Okay, so araling mabuti. So ito, hinanap ko na yan, yung 10 tips so that you may be refreshed on how to cite properly. Yes?
Sir, tanong lang po, sir.
Yes po.
Yung about sa sources, what if yung let's say yung website is about opinion ng opinion na yun, opinion ng someone else. Can we count it as an legitimate source?
Okay, pag opinion siya ng someone else, ito kasi ang concern ko diyan. Sino ba siya? Kunyari sa paper mo, of course kasi yung paper mo nagigets ko kasi medyo maraming controversial dyan kang kailangan tignan na website. So, ang akin lang dyan, kailangan mo i-discuss sino siya, bakit mo siya doon kinuha. Bakit siya isang legitimate source. Parang ganon.
Okay, sir.
Okay naman yan kasi may mga taong nagme-maintain ng sarili nilang website. Yes. Pero kunyari, kukunin mo si Mocha Uson, medyo mamumroblema ako ng konti doon. Okay? So, be worried din kung saan mo kukunin yung sources mo. Pero, okay lang. As long as kailangan mong i-describe at i-prove doon sa sulat sa iyong paper na I've included a statement from this person because this person was heavily involved in this ganyan-ganyan. So at least alam ko, hindi mo lang siya kinuha kasi nag-agree siya sa sinabi mo. Kinuha mo siya kasi for you, isa siyang subject matter expert on that thing. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Sige. Now, let's go to the schedule. Sa schedule, tapos na tayo sa unang dalawa. Nandito na tayo sa pangatlo, submission of policy paper outline. Again, for those who joined us late in this class, hindi nyo na kailangan hintayin yung clearance ko. You may proceed with writing your paper. The policy outline will serve as my reference regarding your paper and for me to give myself an idea din of what you're writing about so that when I read it, mas magaguide ako. Okay? Ito na. January 8. No? January 8 ang inyong first submission. That's around 19 to 20 days from now. Ngayon, yung isasubmit ninyo ay pwede ko nang i-take as your final grade for the final exam. Yung sasabihin sa January 8. Pero I have this personal commitment that from January 9 to 11, I will check everything so that I can return it to you by January 12 or earlier so that those who want to revise their paper, to incorporate my comments, to take note of my inputs, and to correct their paper in a way, revise their paper and submit a better one by January 16, then okay lang din. Okay? So, pero kung kunyari kayo, sir, masyado na po kaming bugbog sa work and sa school work, no, sa ibang subjects, sir, medyo mabigat na, then I understand. You don't need to submit a revised. Nasa inyo na yon. Pero nasa choice nyo yon. Ako, binibigyan ko pa rin ng choice yung mga taong gusto pang i-edit yung kanilang gawa. Okay? Sir, paano pa nag-submit ako ng maaga? Sir, paano if I've decided not to eat Noche Buena with my family, not to watch fireworks with my jowa, just to write the paper and to comply with other school stuff, at makapag-submit ako by January 4, then go. submit. And once you submitted earlier than January 8, give me 1 to 2 days to return your paper. Then you have another try. Okay? Then choice mo pa rin pala yun kung gusto mo pa rin i-revise or hindi. Basta lahat ng isasubmit sa akin after January 8, may minus na at hindi na pwedeng mag-revise. Yun na yun. Okay? Nagkakaintindihan, class?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes
Sige.
po.
Sa criteria, of course, I'm always guided by these 3 criteria whenever I'm checking your paper. Kasi hindi ako darts na teacher. Talagang gusto ko very fair ako sa pag-grade sa inyo and ito lagi yung consideration ko. This time, medyo nilakihan ko nga lang yung iba. 45% for understanding na issue. Of course, I want to see in your paper that you know what you're talking about. Hindi yung nilagay mo lang yung topic na yon, hindi lang yung pinili mo lang yung topic na yon. Kasi from the point of the reader, from the point of view of the reader, we can actually see and we can actually feel if the writer is not really sure what he or she is talking about. So dapat hindi ko yun maramdaman and makita ko yun by reading a paper that is properly written with all the sources and well cited write up. Doon naman sa pangalawa, sa content and personal take on the issue, this will play a big part kasi nabanggit nga sa una kanina, you should have a position. Yung kay Mr. Dean nga yung lagi kong ginagamit na example kanina. If your paper is all about the remaining war or the remaining dispute of the Cold War, which is the Korean War, then dapat at the end of the day, after mo i-discuss, yun yung understanding na issue, after you've narrate how it happened, what's the current situation, dapat makita ko rin doon, what's the way forward? How are we going to solve yung social issue na pinili ninyo? And for example, yung Korean War nga, how will it end? Will the Korean Peninsula be forever divided? Or will the Korean Peninsula eventually, will they unite? And if ever they decided to unite, will it be through diplomacy and agreement? They will just create the reborn of the Joseon Kingdom, or will they resort to war in order to dominate the other side? So, isa yun sa ina-expect ko sa isusulat ni Mr. Dean. So, ganun din sa inyo. Kailangan may position sa dulo, may recommendation. Sabihin niya pa doon, sir, of course, ganyan-ganyan, but at the end of the day, solving this through this manner is what is the best case. Mga ganon. Okay? So, dapat makita ko rin yung personal take ninyo sa issue. Now, take ownership in your paper. And of course, the remaining 10% is allotted to the acceptable and universal grammar rules and writing mechanics that governs academic undertakings such as these. Okay, so that's the entire 100%. Any question, class? Meron po ba tayong tanong? Class?
Wala naman po.
Wala naman. Okay, so saan tayo natapos last time? Where did we end in our discussion? Were we able to discuss SDGs? Na balikan ba natin yung SDGs last time?
Doon po tayo, sir, sa yung video po na may vision.
Yung ambition. Napakita ko na ba yung pangalawang video doon, yung mahaba, yung dinidiscuss ni ma'am yung gusto ng Pilipino? Doon tayo natapos, no? Tama ba or hindi?
Hindi ko matanda.
Okay. Sige, I'm gonna show it. Tapos sabihin niyo sa akin ha kung dito ba tayo natapos or hindi.
ng pamumuhay.
Natapos tayo dyan? Napanood nyo ba to? Class?
Hindi po po ata, sir.
Yung iba, si Miss Kagara lang ba yung present last time?
Tapos na po ata.
Sir, parang tapos na po
Tapos
yan.
na. Okay, so sige. Okay, so ulitin ko lang, no, yung Ambition 2040, sige, di-discuss ko na lang. It is the vision that we want by 2040. Ang binabanggit doon, we want a simple life. Pero yung simple life kasi doon, yung pagkaka-characterize, medyo parang hindi naman simple. Kasi a life that have, or a life that has enough for your daily needs, you're with savings, you have your own car, you own your own house, you live with enough means, and at the same time you have enough money to travel and to visit your parents, and you are enabled by a strong and clean government. So those are that is the characterization of the life that we want by 2040. Now, we need to understand that for us to reach that vision, kailangan natin magsimula ngayon na. No? Hindi natin kailangan hintayin yung 2035, 2030 for us to work. We need to work now. Kaya nga, yung Ambition 2040, ginawa yan so that all the presidents from Duterte up to 2040 will work towards that vision. Kasi the problem before was, there's good programs kasi hindi natutuloy, no? So kunyari kayo, if you want something by 2030, you need to be this person, you want to buy this thing by this year, isiset mo na yun. Kasi it will guide your decision and your life from the moment you've decided that you're going to do it and until you reach that end. Okay? So parang malaking bagay sabihin ko, kailangan may kotse ako in 2 years. So gagawin ko lahat mula ngayon hanggang 2022 for me to have enough money to set aside enough savings for me to buy a car. So that's what we're doing here. For the Philippines to finally reach a certain point of development na mas okay kaysa sa meron tayo ngayon, kailangan natin mag-set ng vision. Ano ba yung buhay na gusto natin by 2040? So that's it. Now, sabi ko nga kanina, kailangan mag-work ng 4 na administrasyon, no? Starting with President Duterte, and each administration actually has this tool, no? Meron silang tool na ginagamit to guide their economic plans, programs, and activities sa kanilang administrasyon. At kailangan nila na itali yung kanilang programa sa ambisyon. So, under the term of President Duterte, we have what we call the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022. So, itong plano na to, ito, a bridge na to kasi makapal na libro talaga to. Nandito nakapaloob, no, yung mga pinangako at gustong mangyari ng pamahalaang Duterte noong 2017 na gusto nila mangyari by 2022. At ito, ang panimula, ito ang pundasyon ng Ambition 2040. Kasi nga, siya ang pinakaunang pangulo sa 4 na pangulo na magtataguyod ng Ambition 2040. So, sir, ano ba ang laman nito? Ano ba yung mga ipinangako ng presidente na development plan sa atin from 2017 to 2022? Hindi ko na sa inyo ito ipapabasa. No? We're just going to watch an AVP, no, of the National Economic and Development Authority or the NEDA na regarding this. Kasi actually some of this ay na-involved din ako and yung team ko kasi nga sa security part. So medyo malapit din sa akin tong document na to. And dito kasi nakapaloob yung by 2022, ito naman yung gusto nating gawin. At dapat yung gusto natin gawin by 2022 ay aligned, alinsunod at nakatali sa Ambition 2040. Naintindihan ba ako, class?
Yes po.
Okay. Sige. So, panoorin natin tong video na to and afterwards, we're going to have recitation for everyone. Pagka panood natin yung video, kasi tandaan natin yung video na ipapanood ko regarding dito. So, ito yung pangako ng 2017. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, no? So sagutin niyo lang dire-diretso. First, with 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, what is the grade that you can give to the current administration when it comes to its development promises? Okay? Number 2, in what programs did the government actually have some achievements, and in what programs did they fail? Okay? So you're going to grade the government, you're going to specify in what areas did it receive some success, and in which programs did it fail. Nakuha? Nakuha ba, class?
Opo, sir.
Mr. Ligutan,
Yes po.
malinaw?
Opo.
Okay. Sige. So, isa-isahin ko.
Sir, sorry po, connecting po, sir. Pandita lang po kasi ako.
So, Miss Babiera, malinaw ba yung instructions ko?
Yes po, malinaw po.
Okay, sige. Panoorin natin ito. Mabilis lang naman to. It's around 7 to 8 minutes lang naman.
This is the Filipino people.
Nagpe-play ba, class? Naririnig nyo?
Yes.
Yes po. Opo.
Take note ha, kasi may recitation afterwards.
People's vision. By 2040, the Philippines is a prosperous, middle-class society where no one is poor. People live long and healthy lives and are smart and innovative. The country is a high-trust society where families thrive in vibrant, culturally diverse, and resilient communities. This is where the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022 takes off. In February 2017, the National Economic and Development Authority Board, chaired by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, approved the PDP 2017 to 2022. It is the first medium-term plan to be anchored on the 0 to 10-point socio-economic agenda and is geared towards the Ambisyon Natin 2040, which articulates the Filipino people's collective vision of a matatag, maginhawa, at panatag na buhay para sa lahat. It also takes into account the country's international commitments, such as the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. It is a result of nationwide consultations with various sectors.
In turning our collective vision into reality, it is necessary for each administration to build on the gains of its predecessors to ensure continuity and consistency of policies, programs, projects, and initiatives, while also maintaining a certain amount of flexibility.
Executive Order Number 5, issued by President Duterte, states that all development plans until 2040 will be anchored on the long-term vision and that these will emphasize the centrality of the Filipino people and their aspirations in the planning, design, and implementation of government interventions.
The Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022 will lay down a solid foundation for a more inclusive growth, a high-trust society, and a globally competitive economy.
To turn the Filipinos' vision into reality, the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022 has set targets to be achieved in the next 6 years. Foremost, the Philippines will be an upper-middle income country, with GDP growth expected to strengthen further and the average income per person to increase over the 6-year plan period. Moreover, growth will be more inclusive, as manifested by lower poverty incidence in the rural areas. Overall poverty rate will decline and will lift more Filipinos out of poverty. The Philippines will have a high level of human development. This will be supported by improvements in education and health outcomes and the significant increase in incomes. Likewise, the unemployment rate will go down and more jobs will be generated. In areas outside of the National Capital Region, emphasis will be on improving the quality of employment. There will be greater trust in government and in society. At the same time, individuals and communities will be more resilient. Filipinos will have greater drive for innovation, with the Philippines ranking among the top 1/3 of countries in the Global Innovation Index. Among the youth and adults, there will be greater drive to improve on their knowledge base, skills, and expertise.
To attain our targets, we have identified several strategies clustered under the 3 pillars of malasakit, pagbabago, and patuloy na pag-unlad, supported by a strong foundation in national security, infrastructure development, socio-economic resiliency, and ecological integrity.
For Malasakit, or enhancing the social fabric, the aim is to regain people's trust in public institutions and cultivate trust in fellow Filipinos. This entails making public institutions citizen-centered, efficient, and clean. Administration of justice will be swift and fair, and there will be increased awareness and knowledge on the value of cultural diversity and shared heritage among Filipinos. For pagbabago, or inequality-reducing transformation, lifting the poor and other economic groups that used to lag behind is the main priority. This will be achieved by expanding economic opportunities and increasing access to these opportunities. These will be coupled with reducing vulnerability and ensuring resiliency of communities by strengthening social protection and prioritizing human capital development. Patuloy na pag-unlad, or increasing growth potential, will be attained by advancing to a knowledge economy and accelerating the full harvest of the demographic dividend. Technology adoption will be promoted and innovation will be encouraged. Cross-cutting strategies are also in place to support the interventions articulated under the 3 pillars. These provide a bedrock for all strategies to work. These cross-cutting strategies are ensuring a sound, stable, and supportive macroeconomic environment, putting in place a strategic trade and fiscal policy, leveling the playing field through a national competition policy, attaining just and lasting peace, ensuring security, public order and safety, accelerating infrastructure development, and ensuring ecological integrity, clean and healthy environment.
Our journey to 2040 has begun. We enjoin everyone to support the Philippine Development Plan to realize our collective aspirations. Tayo na, tuparin ang hangad nating matatag, maginhawa, at panatag na buhay para sa lahat.
Okay, napanood ba, class?
Yes, so.
Okay, so i-discuss ko lang, no, kasi baka yung iba medyo nag-lag, ganyan. Okay, tatandaan natin uli, no? Isa ang PDP 2017 to 2022, ang isa sa 4 na PDP na dapat sumagot, no, at gawing makatotohanan, no, yung Ambisyon 2040. Now, dahil na siya yung first, ang goal niya is to lay the foundation. Of course, for us to have a very good structure, we need to have a very good foundation first. And that's what PDP 2017 to 2022 wants. No? So, ang aim niya is to lay down the foundation for inclusive growth, high trust and resilient society, and globally competitive knowledge economy. Now, to do this, supported siya ng 3 pillars. Ano yung 3 pillars na yon? Malasakit, pagbabago, at patuloy na pag-unlad. So yung gawain ng gobyerno doon nakasama, no? Doon nakapaloob sa 3 yon. So ano ba yon? First, enhancing the social fabric or malasakit. Of course, this is about we cannot develop as a nation if we don't trust each other. And basically, if we don't trust the government. No? And at the same time kasi, it's about inviting people to trust us, the government, but the government also should do something for the people to trust it. No? It cannot ask for trust without being trustworthy. Another part is for the swift administration of justice and the swift and fair. Ano yung mga nakapaloob dito? Tandaan natin, sa mata ng batas, dapat equal tayo. And nakalagay din sa ating konstitusyon na dapat mabilis ang pagpuproseso at ang pagtatapos ng mga kaso. Ngunit makikita pa rin natin na napakadami pa rin ang nasa kulungan na they've been there for the longest time because the justice system works at a very slow pace, no, that makes individuals spend yung dapat sentensya na hindi pa sila napapanagot pero nag-serve na sila ng napakatagal sa loob ng kulungan. And it is always good for every citizen to have a justice system na mabilis mag-dispense ng kaso. At hindi lang basta mabilis, dapat ito ay patas sa lahat. Ano man ang iyong uri, ano man ang iyong tangkad, anong iyong kulay, anong iyong yaman, anong laman ng iyong bank account, ay hindi magiging basihan sa magiging hatol sa'yo at sa magiging penalty na kailangan mong i-serve. At the same time, for us to enhance our social fabric, to enhance our social unity, we need also to understand and recognize and appreciate the diversity that we have. Remember, we're not just Tagalogs here in the Philippines. We're not just Visayans, and we're not just Cebuano, Ilocano. No, we're composed of various of ethno-linguistic groups, and we need to understand that each linguistic group has its own strengths, no, and we need to recognize and appreciate them, and of course the culture of each and every Filipino na meron. Okay, the next pillar, of course, is to reduce inequality or yung pagbabago. We need to help those who can't help themselves. We need to help individuals who are marginalized. Ano po marginalized? They are those who have less in life and they are those who are disadvantaged. Sino ba itong mga to? Ito yung mga nasa extreme poverty, ito yung mga senior citizens, PWDs, ito yung mga ating mga kababayang indigenous people, ito yung mga kababaihan na hindi pa rin natatamasa yung dapat pantay na pagtingin sa maraming aspeto, at maging ang LGBT community. At the end of the day, we need to reduce inequality in our society. Kasi we cannot say that we are developed if a big part of our country still lags behind or yung maraming naiiwan. Kaya nga dapat ang lagi nating sinasabi, when it comes to development, no one is left behind. No, wala dapat maiiwan. Yan din ang sinasabi ng SDG. Of course, the third pillar is about increasing potential growth. Increasing potential growth means patuloy na pag-unlad. And how can we further develop? We can further develop by having more investments in our country, by having more economic productivity in our country, by having more income here in the country. And how can we do that? We need to make sure that the Philippines is a country that is worth investing in. Investors must look at the Philippines as worthy of their millions and billions of investments. And if they invest in here in the Philippines, no, they will earn some profit. No, we need to make the Philippines a place wherein it is easy to do business, that has a good judicial and court system, so that merong rule of law, no, at mapoprotektahan ng market. At the same time, kailangan dito mapaganda pa natin yung turismo ng Pilipinas, because tourism, no, is a big chunk or forms a big chunk of our national income. Around 12.7% of our national income comes from tourism. Imagine ngayon, almost zero yan. And around 5 million Filipinos are employed in tourism-related areas. So, kita niyo yung epekto ng COVID, ganun kalaki. And these pillars, no, kung ito yung tatlong pillar, dapat sinusuportahan niya ng semento. And the supporting indicators and the supporting factors, sabi nga ni Secretary Pernia kanina, na dapat present at dapat tutukan din ng gobyerno maliban sa tatlong pillars na to ay yung national security. Of course, nabanggit ko na yan before. We cannot develop if a country or a certain area is insecure. Of course, development and investment won't go in there, no? Kasi nga takot yung mga tao. They won't spend, and businesses won't invest in those areas. Next is good infrastructure. Of course, we're doing that with the build. Sabi nga, the Duterte administration is the second golden age of Philippine infrastructure. Though yung mga nasa build ay patapos pa lang naman, karamihan ang natapos. Hold over yan nung time ni Pinoy. And of course, we need ecological stability and integrity. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to develop and progress as a nation, and yet we don't mind the role that God has given us, and that is to be the steward of His creations, then walang mangyayari din. Kasi hindi magiging sustainable yung ating development. No? Hindi na matatamasa na susunod na henerasyon ng ating mga anak at ng kanilang mga anak yung mga tinamasa natin ngayon. Because naging greedy na tayo. So that's it then. No? We need to be ecologically balanced as we pursue development. And that is the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022. Now, I'm going to ask each and every one of you to answer the questions I laid down earlier. Okay, so ulitin ko, the question is, if you're going rate the country, rate the administration, with 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, when it comes to the promises underscored in this document. Yung nabanggit kanina, kung paano tayo nag-perform, no? And magbanggit kayo ng isang area kung saan tayo mas naging okay or saan naging okay yung medyo natupad naman yung pre-promise and saan naman yung medyo sumablay. And provide some justification. Okay, let's start with Mr. Eya.
Sa akin, sir, 8.
8. Bakit 8?
Well, kasi since kagaya ng sitwasyon ngayon, wala naman nakahula na magkakaroon ng COVID ngayong year eh. So, basically, na-disrupt yung plano, yung development plan, at na-halted siguro may mga problema na halted. Tsaka hindi, as we can see in the news, may mga palpak yung about sa health issues, sa vaccine, ganyan. Recently, may dapat pa talaga improve sa gobyerno. Yan, ganyan.
So that's the area wherein there's need some improvement. So in which aspects naman did the government actually perform better?
Yun nga sir, yung sa infrastructure projects, yung gaya ng yung mga bridges, yung mga roads na papatayo daw soon, ganyan. Kasi simula pa lang 2017, so hindi masyadong halata, pero meron naman kung titignan talaga eh. So, siguro ang kailangan pa nila na i-improve yung sa inequality talaga sa mga farmers. Kagaya niyan, may mga nagreklamo pa rin mga farmers, hindi pa sila tulungan, may mga slums pa rin. Kung sa totoo lang, kung gusto by 2040 na dapat wala na talagang poverty, dapat mawala na yung slums. Dapat yung mga taong nasa slums, may bahay na yun na maayos kagaya natin din.
Dapat wala nang gawan ng documentary ang GMA. Kasi lagi sila di ba?
Kapos dapat nga eh.
Okay, so since nabanggit mo yan, no, I would like to invite everyone pala din for you to understand, no, ano na ba talaga yung na-achieve ng government. Ito sa mata naman to ng gobyerno. Tandaan niyo, of course, ang achievement at ang story ay naka-base sa kung sino yung nagsulat. So for you to really see ano yung naging accomplishments ng gobyerno sa mata ng gobyerno, I invite you to download this document din. Now, this is the President's Report to the People, no? Every year after SONA, naglalabas ng report ng President na syempre hindi naman niya lahat pwedeng sabihin sa SONA. So, nakadetalye na lang. So, kayo, kung meron kayong mga topic na sa tingin nyo mga ngailangan ng ano na ba yung nagawa ng gobyerno sa area na to, you can visit this. No, you can download this online kasi marami ditong nakalagay. Marami ditong nakalagay na data, information, graphs, no? Tungkol sa mga iba't ibang proyekto ng gobyerno since the president entered office. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Eya. So, punta naman tayo kay Miss Melanie.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
For me, 8/10 din po.
8/10. Bakit 8/10?
Kasi po, parang sa akin, yung pinaka-great, yung 2 points na nabawas, yung greatest na for me na dahilan is yun nga po yung ito na din po yung sa yung parang hindi po nagawa. Yun po yung greater trust in government and in society po. Siyempre, kung sino pa po, di ba yung namumuno, madalas sila po. Yung base lang po sa napapanood ko sa TV po. Katulad ng sa PhilHealth issue po.
Hanapin nyo palagi yun. Baka nakakalimutan nyo na.
And then, yung sa tingin ko naman po na program na may achievement yung government is yung poverty reduction and economic inclusion naman po.
Okay,
kasi, di ba po, nung nagsimula po si Duterte nung, since he began his presidency po, by the end of 2019, from 23.5% po, naging 16.7% na lang po yung poverty. Then, yung nakatulong din po dito yung 3 major policy reforms niya po. Yung rice tariffication law, trade law, tsaka yung universal healthcare.
Yes. Actually, maraming major landmarks, landmark legislation ang na-approve under the president. So, can you discuss? May idea ka ba doon sa tatlong yon? Kahit isa lang.
Yung sa rice tariffication law, from if I'm not mistaken po, yung inalis niya po yung inallowed po yung allowed importation that brought na yung babaan po yung rice prices. Then yung sa train law po, yung income taxes na yung 250,000 a year, yung earning no more. Tama ba?
Okay,
parang,
so yes. Mas binabaan yung income tax under the train law, tama ba?
Tapos yung sa universal health, alam ko po parang ginaya lang po yung sa Thailand eh. Pero po, ayun nga po yung massive corruption sa health insurance agency, yung PhilHealth nga po.
Yes, it's yun nga eh. The universal healthcare sana would like to give every Filipino an opportunity to access better healthcare system. So it mandated the government to give all Filipinos membership in the PhilHealth. So yun din. Kaso ang problema, di ba, sabi nga ng PhilHealth, paubos na yung pera nila eh. Di ba, Miss Melanie, nabanggit nila yun last time. And yun naman, yung rice tariffication naman, kung titignan, ito naman ay yung inalaw na yung importation ng rice para hindi tayo nagkukulang. Kasi before, ang ginagawa lang ay we selectively import. So pag kailangan, may import tayo. Pero ang problema, masyadong matagal dumating, maraming dinadaan ang proseso. This time, para mapababa din yung presyo para sa atin, ay hinayaan na yung pagpapasok ng bigas, no? Malayang pagpasok ng bigas mula sa ibang bansa. Pero may dagdag na taripa. Ang problema naman ito, syempre, pag masyadong mababa yung presyo ng bigas, kawawa naman yung mga magsasaka. Okay. So, thank you, Miss Melanie. No? Actually, nabanggit ni Miss Melanie yung tatlo sa pinakamalalaking landmark legislation ng presidency of President Duterte. Again, the rice tariffication law, the train law, and the universal healthcare law. Thank you, Miss Melanie. Next, Ashley. Ashley? Kasama ka ba namin? O baka may problema ata ang connection ni Miss Ashley. Pwede bang si Miss, Miss Kagara? Pwede bang si Miss Kagara muna? Okay, Mr. Dean. Mr. Dean,
Sir.
ikaw muna.
Ako, sir, sa rate ko ng mga 7 po. Despite na maraming nangyari dito sa bansa natin, merong progress naman po, pero slow naman yung organize sa sitwasyon natin. Tapos, yung kay sa vaccine, medyo ewan ko kung sumang-ayon si Duterte sa China, kasi yung vaccine sa China kasi wala pang data na nagagather. Parang yung mismong vaccine kasi sa China, parang wala pa siyang data. Which is yung mga taga-China naman po, medyo kahit na meron silang vaccine, bumibili pa rin sila ng ibang gamot sa ibang bansa. Which is yung marami din para sa kaka-benefit po nila.
Pero so para sa iyo, ito ang question. Sige nga Mr. Hardy, if ikaw aware ka do sa issue na hindi agad napirmahan ni Secretary Duque yung supposed to be document that could have given us a lot of initial vaccines from Pfizer, tama?
Opo.
Okay, so sa tingin mo okay lang ba yun? Kasi ang sinasabi din naman niya, at that time naman kasi hindi pa naman okay din yung Pfizer. And at that time, hindi naman talaga sure na by that time, mabibigay na sa atin. So, kailangan din niya munang aralin. So, naging very crucial ba yung hindi niya kagad pagpirma? Hindi niya kagad pag-approve doon?
Sa po ulit, sir? Sa vaccine po?
Oo, yung sa vaccine. Kasi 'di ba may nilabas na issue si Senator Lacson, no? Sabi niya, dapat daw kung napirmahan ni Secretary Duque yung isang dokumento na mag-a-allow sa Pfizer para makapagbigay sana ng 10 million na doses by January, February. But because medyo natulog yung papel sa Department of Health, hindi iyon mangyayari. Napunta sa Singapore yung dapat 10 million doses na yun. So, eto na lang, Mr. Dean, i-assess mo naman ang performance ni Secretary Duque. 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. Siya lang mismo.
6, sir. Kasi
6.
Hindi. Yung gamot na yun, meron medyo pag sa first world country kasi merong parang picture natin mas maganda yung product po nila kaysa China. Ganun.
Pero sa tingin mo, nag-perform ng maayos si Secretary Duque ngayon? Overall, since the pandemic began, naging maayos ba yung kanyang performance?
Siguro hindi po, sir.
Hindi. Bakit?
Hindi po kasi na-approvean yung papeles doon.
Tsaka yung mga una niyang ginawa nung March. No? Actually, very controversial nga, yung naging reaction and naging participation ng ni Secretary Duque in all of this. And I think, alam nyo, at the end of the day, kasi history ang magiging judge sa ating lahat. No? If of course, he did what he could under the certain conditions, pero may mga tanong kasi na parang, dapat ba may nagawa pa siya? Pero those are the questions na hahatol sa lahat ng gobyerno, sa lahat ng tao one day. At history na lang ang maghahatol sa atin. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Dean. Okay, Miss Kagara, nandiyan ka na ba? Kasama ka na namin?
Sir, pwede ako, sir, bago mawala yung net ko.
Tama. Sige, Mr. Ligutan.
For me, sir, 8, sir, as a whole po yung government.
Okay, bakit 8?
Kasi po, despite of this pandemic po, di ba, sir, marami nang naghihirap, marami nang nawalan ng trabaho, tapos yung mga bilihin ang mahal-mahal pa. Instead, yung government yung tumulong kung paano makaka-reach out yung mga mahirap na sa lalayan ng mga kababayan, di ba? So, yung parang ganun po, instead na tulungan nila yung kababayan nila, mas parang tinaasan nila yung mga presyo na hindi naman kaya ng iba nating mga kababayan kasi nga, di ba, nawala na ngayon ng trabaho, tapos how much more yung wala talagang permanent na job. So, parang ganun po. Then, wala namang issue sa health protocols, kaso lang po, masyado silang mahigpit. Although maganda naman yun, kasi kaso lang po, hindi nila inisip kung ano yung talagang effect if tuloy-tuloy yung paghihigpit nila kasi nga po, wala nang makain yung iba kasi nga po, as what I said earlier na wala nang permanent job, so nawala ng trabaho due to na maraming cases na meron tayo ngayon.
So that's the government intervention that you feel like it didn't live up to your expectation. But yes. How about the other side? What are the projects, the initiatives that you think that the government actually did well naman?
Maganda naman, sir, especially yung sa Tokhang po. I do not know kung tapos na o hindi. Kasi nga po, di ba, sir, before is trending masyado yung Tokhang. Hindi ko nga alam kung hanggang ngayon is tapos na ba or wala or patuloy pa rin sila. Kasi di ba sabi ng presidente, 3 buwan, ilubas na lang ng 6 na buwan, hindi pa rin tapos. Kasi parang doon yun na-feel yung president kasi nga sabi niya, di ba, 3 buwan lang, supuin niya lahat. So which is hindi naman, tawag nito, na-achieve. Kasi nga sa sobrang dami ng nangyari, di ba? So, yung akin lang po is yung sa Bill program nila, which is yung mga bridges, mga infrastructure, still on process naman po for the developing country, which is the Philippines.
Okay, so Mr. Ligutan, mas safe na ba for you na lumabas ngayon? I mean, not hindi sa COVID. I mean, before COVID, did you feel safer than like 5 years ago? Mr. Ligutan?
Duterte administration na po ba, sir?
Yeah. I mean, before the pandemic, no? Did you feel like...
Anywhere ba, sir? Anywhere?
Oo, ikaw. Pag lumalabas ka ng bahay, did you feel safer as compared to 5 years ago? Or it's just the same?
Feeling ko safe naman po. Feeling safe naman po, sir.
Mas safe. Kasi,
yes.
Kasi that's the argument of one of my student in the previous class, no? Sabi niya, ay sir, kasi I feel safer eh. So, kayo ba, class, did you feel like safer right now? In terms of going out and not really being, not being criminalized by anyone? Mr. Aya? Would you like to
Ako, sir, hindi masyadong safer. Pero, hindi ko naman din disregard yung Tokhang. I feel that yung drug war is doing something good. Pero the thing is, hindi pa talaga safe. Mas need pa talaga ng improvement sa security, more on camera. Kasi may mga, yung rider na bigla ka na ng babaril tapos hindi mo mahuli kasi naka-helmet sila. Dapat mayroong x-ray yun eh. Para kita mo ka eh. Like sa ibang bansa, dapat talaga dito eh. Pero good naman yung drug war.
Good yung drug war. Can you say that good yung drug war even with the current report by the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights na may mga violation? And there were cases wherein inosente naman?
Well, good in a way na yung sa mismong drugs. Pero, yun nga, may mga violations nga kasi. Yun yung bad, pero may good bad then. Okay.
So do you think sige to, tanong to anyone kahit sinong pwede sumagot. So guys, can you say na we can pursue the fight against drugs but at the same time respecting human rights? Can we do that?
Yes po.
Yes, bakit, Mr. Legutan? How can you elaborate on your answer? Mr.
Ito
Legutan.
nga po yan, sir. Sabi ka, sir, yung dulo lang yung narinig ko po. Pakiulit nga po, sir. Okay lang.
Can we pursue drug war? Can we pursue the fight against drugs, but at the same time still respecting human rights?
Yes po, sir.
Why? Why do you think so?
Although, sir, sa mata ng batas is lahat pantay-pantay naman, di ba? So, if the government, sila lang yung mag-decision na para yung mga drug war o yung mga drug lord is diretso ng papatayin. So, isipin naman nila yung human rights ng isang tao. Kasi nga po, di ba? Kahit nga hayop, sir, di ba, may batas na bawal sila patayin. How much more human being? So, biblically, di ba? Biblically, sabi nga nila, wala tayong karapatan na kumuha ng isang buhay kasi nga hindi tayo yung nagmamay-ari po.
Okay. Okay, so for you, we can naman. So for others, do you have any opinion on this? Do you think we can still siguro kasi this is something that is very 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 controversial and tied with the Duterte administration, no? It's war on drugs. And most of the time, it is being labeled as anti-human rights. So, ang question, can we have a program to defeat drugs without committing human rights violations?
Kung ako, sir?
Yes, Mr. Aya.
Kaya naman eh. Basta, sir, yung ano lang, kasi 'di ba yung dating trending na issue na EJK, extrajudicial killing, sir. So, kaya mga pulis daw nagpa-plant ng drugs sa mga inosenteng tao para lang
binibenta pa, 'di ba? Sabi sa yung Ninja Cups.
Opo, sir. So kung aalis natin 'yun, kung prevent natin yung mga ganun, tapos focus lang tayo sa mismong masamang tao talaga, yung nagbebenta ng illegal drugs or yung plant talaga ng drugs, maayos naman eh. May mga pulis lang talaga or sa side ng human rights, may mga pulis na nang-aabuso ganun. Pero kung ayusin naman yung trabaho nila, yun, maayos naman eh. Kasi tama naman talaga na yung masamang epekto ng drugs sa tao eh. So, dapat talaga i-eliminate natin yung society natin.
Okay. Okay, very good. So, others, would you like to add? But kunyari, kayo, do you really agree that drugs is a problem? Siguro naman, hindi naman problema yun. Hindi naman yun ano.
Yes naman po, sir.
Okay. Sige. Kasi of course, right now, nakita nyo naman, di ba? Unti-unti, drugs are being decriminalized in the world. No, a lot of U.S. states are now allowing drugs, and a lot of countries are slowly allowing it. So I don't think. I mean, I can't predict if we're going to do that as well. But at least there must be an effort, no, to pursue drugs. To pursue the defeat of drugs by respecting human rights as well. Marami naman eh, ang karapatan mo is karapatan mong mabuhay pa din, no? So karapatan mo na mag-undergo ng due process based sa judicial law and based sa batas ng isang bansa. So if we can do it, no, na sabi nga ni Mr. Aya, if we can do away with all the bad things na related sa drug war, then maybe we can pursue it. Okay? So, meron pa bang gustong sumagot na hindi pa nakasagot? Meron pa ba? Anyone? Okay. Miss Ashley, Miss Kagara, you don't, kung nagka-problema panoorin, okay lang naman, no? Pero ano na lang, based on your understanding and based on how you and how you understand the accomplishments and the failures of this administration, meron ka bang anong grade na maibibigay mo? Kayo, Miss Kagara and Miss Ashley, if you're still here, kung wala kayo problema sa internet. Wag mahiya, tayo lang to. Alam nyo, ito yung mga topic kasi na mahirap pag-usapan sa Facebook, no? Kasi pag pinag-usapan mo to sa Facebook, mapuputakti ka ng comments, ng hate comments, ng like, ng mga troll. Pero alam nyo, at the end of the day, we need to discuss these things. We need to discuss these things. Kasi this will eventually guide our choices once na makakaboto na tayo. Nakaboto na ba kayo?
Di ba po?
Hindi pa. Pero nakaparehistro na kayo.
Opo. Registered na po.
Registered na. So, boboto ka na sa 2022. Yung iba, kayo, Miss Melanie, naka-registered na ba? Registered na kayo?
Opo, kaso magpapatransfer po ako dito.
Magpapatransfer. Ito, at the same, ito kasi, a big part of this discussion as well also goes to your civic duty as a Filipino, which you will exercise by 2022, which is to vote. Kasi maganda na pag the time na boboto ka, you are armed with knowledge kung ano yung mga nangyari, ano yung dapat gawin. So, ang pagboto mo based sa plataforma, hindi based sa tao, no? And hopefully one day we can, and hopefully at tandaan nyo rin na meron tayong ambition 2040. And dapat yung mga i-elect natin na leaders are leaders na sa tingin natin ipupursue yung commitment under ambition 2040. Okay? And Miss Kagara, nandito ka na ba?
Okay, yes po. Ano ko po kasi yung net eh.
Okay. O sige, Miss Kagara, mabilis lang. Anong grade ang maibibigay mo at saan tayo nagtagumpay at saan tayo medyo nagka-problema?
Yung sa akin po, siguro mga 6. Sa ano po yung problema sa, yung ito pong COVID. Kasi po, kaya po nagkakaroon ng sobrang daming kaso kasi wala po tayong batas sa ganyan. I mean, yung batas na sinasabi, minsan napapanood ko po kasi sinasabi ni yung nagsasalita po palagi, Secretary. Sabi niya wala kasing batas kaya siguro madaming labas ng labas, hindi nagpa-face mask, face shield. Parang ganun, parang naisip nila, parang okay lang yan. Parang hindi naman sila maano kasi walang umaano sa kanila, parang ganun po.
Di ba kayo nalulungkot na yung ibang bansa may mga vaccine na? Yung Vietnam, yung mga friends ko sa Vietnam, never sila nag-face mask. Tapos,
nalulungkot din po kasi meron isa pa sa yung meron nag-drop ng ball.
No?
Yung nasa balita, drop the ball daw, yung ganun. Yung yung magkakaroon na sana ng COVID kasi may nag-drop ata. Opo, ayun po.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying earlier, no? Dapat may vaccine na tayo, but the paper languished under the purview of Secretary Duque. Pero kasi, ano naman yan, there's a different and competing point of view naman dyan. And, ano pa ba? At saan tayo naging okay? Saan naman tayo naging okay? Miss Kagara. Miss Kagara.
Ano po, naging okay, mas parang nagiging papunta na din sa pagiging okay yung drug po. Parang paunti-unti na silang parang unti-unti na silang nababawasan. Parang ganun po. So, kasi parang tinututukan talaga ng Philippines na talaga yung makuha talaga lahat ng mga drug lord.
Okay, so kabarangay ata kita. So, do you feel safer now? As compared to 5-7 years ago? I mean, when you go out?
Parang hindi pa po siya.
Hindi pa din.
Opo.
Okay, so siguro that's it, no? We need to target an environment wherein mga Filipinos very very safe na for them to go outside and they feel safe going outside, no? And mabalik lang sa COVID, no? Siguro at some point yun yung nakakalungkot. Imagine saan nagsimula ang COVID, sa ang city?
China po. China.
Basta China, sa Wuhan. Nakita niyo ba, kahapon yung Wuhan, nagpa-party na ng walang face mask.
Opo, sir.
Diba?
Dati nagkaroon din ng pool party.
Nagka-pool party na sila, nagbo-buffet na sila, nagsasama-sama na sila as family. And yet, ito pa din tayo. We're going to celebrate Christmas apart. And we're going to kung di man Christmas, hindi ka man kay Katoliko, we're going to celebrate the holidays apart. And,
Sir, laki kasi ng kita ng China, sir eh.
ha?
Laki kasi ng kita nila kasi kaya ang saya nila ngayon eh. Lahat ng mga products sa kanila lahat eh na ginagamit sa buong mundo halos.
Basically, yes, no? Medyo kumita nga din sila with
Ang
what is
tatalino,
happening.
sir eh.
Pero hindi naman natin sure 'yon kung paano talaga nagsimula. We cannot point fingers, no? We cannot point fingers. Okay, and with that, thank you everyone for... May question ba?
Sir, last meeting na ngayong December, no? Natin.
Unless gusto nyo mag-meet sa 20... kailan ba? Next Saturday. 26. So, January 9 na tayo hindi, kailan ba balik nyo?
January 4.
O, January 4. Siyempre, hindi tayo pwede magkita ng January 2. So, January 9. So, eto pala, before we end, aside from the final paper, of course, you're going to have one module pa, no? Meaning may sasagutan pa kayo doon from January 4 to 9. Kasi nga, after this one, we only have one Zoom meeting left. And that's January 9. After January 9, we're done. Okay? Kasi nga, tatapusin nyo na yung paper nyo nun, di ba? Dapat 16, magkikita tayo. Ay, hindi na tayo magkikita kasi hindi na rin ako magpapa-exam nun. Yun na yung final submission. So with that, ito na yung remaining. We still have one Zoom meeting left. We have one module left. And I'm thinking of another one pre-recorded lecture left na ang mangyayari, magsasagot lang ulit kayo sa Google Classroom para lang ma-cover natin lahat. Pero yun na yun. After, wala na kayong gagawin sa class ko. Yun na yun. Plus, of course, the major final paper that will serve as your final exam. Malinaw?
Yes po.
Okay. And with that, I would like to end the class by extending my warm wishes of a blessed and happy and safe holidays for all of you.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I know it's very tempting
Christmas,
to
sir.
go outside, to be with friends, to visit some colleagues. But if you can stay inside, please stay. Kasi nga, kung lahat tayo iniisip natin lumabas, edi wala na. Yan na naman tayo. Lockdown na naman. So, I enjoin everyone to safely enjoy Christmas and the New Year, and to be with your family, to appreciate the things that have happened, the things that you've conquered this year. This is a very difficult year for everyone. Ngayon pa lang, online classes pa lang, it's a very challenging platform for you and for us teachers as well. So, maging thankful tayo sa mga nalagpasan natin, and masasalubong pa natin yung 2021. So we lost a lot of our brothers and sisters ngayong taon, and be thankful na may chance pa tayo, no, to have a better life after this year, no? So akala natin 2020 malinaw sana yung taon, kaso medyo alam niyo hindi na ako aasa ulit sa pungsoy eh. Kung sino man yung nagsabi na magiging maswerte ang 2020. Okay?
After ng tour natin, sir, wala nang balik eh. Pinatapos ng tour natin.
Totoo. At least nakapag-enchanted pa tayo. Di ba? Hindi natin alam may COVID. Actually, nung nag-enchanted, sumama ba kayo?
Opo.
Actually, nung nasa Enchanted, naka-mask na ako. Habang nakapila sa, ano nga ba yung
Kahit si Sander po, sir, nakamas na din yan nung hindi pa nag-field trip, nakamas na siya.
Sino?
Si Sander.
Oh, di ba? Kasi nung sumakay sa
better than cure.
Sa space shuttle, nung sumakay sa Anchors Away, naka-mask na ako noon. Kasi diba ang haba ng pila sa mga yon, di kasi talaga ako komportable kasi nga alam ko na may pandemic. So talagang naka-mask na ako all the way. Ay nako, magkita-kita ulit tayo. Anong year na kayo? Second?
Second.
Oh,
siguro sa magkita-kita third year.
Third year pag di mo binagsak.
Third year na tayo. third or fourth year nyo na, tsaka tayo magkikita-kita. Anong...
Sir, pag di pa kami binagtak, magkita-kita tayo next year.
Ay, oo, hindi naman siguro yan. You have good proposals. I believe you're going to develop good papers as well. And with that, thank you, class. I'm happy to have met you virtually. Hopefully, ma-meet ko kayo personally next year. And we can have personal classes as well. Face-to-face classes. Okay, thank you everyone. See you next year.
Thank you. Keep safe.
Keep safe.
Merry Christmas po, sir.
Merry Christmas.